Welcome back to this week's episode of I'm Set the Podcast. I'm Danisha Roll.
I'm Adriana Smith.
And I'm Sports Talk Tasha.
So much has gone on this week in sports. We're going to start with Ja Morant. Ja Morant has been cleared of all charges in Colorado. He will have an 8-game suspension, unpaid. He is charged with conduct detrimental to the league. So let's sound off, ladies.
Well, okay. When I first heard this story and, heard that he could get like 50-game suspension, I really didn't think it was going to be 50 games. I thought it was going to be somewhere between 15 to 25. But then, of course, Adriana preached to these people and explained to them why Ja is only getting 8 games for waving a gun on Instagram Live that he managed to get somehow from Memphis to Colorado, but it's not really his gun.
First of all, when it comes to Ja, right, in this whole situation, we already knew that he wasn't going to get anything major because, one, the Grizzlies, they need him, right? And he is the face of that particular team. Okay, then when we talked about him checking himself in to go get therapy, counseling, whatever, just to prove that he's doing what he needs to do, I called it bluff. I didn't feel as though that it was something that he was doing on his own, that he actually really wanted to get the help. But I knew for a fact that the NBA, the organization, the Grizzlies was like, you need to do this so that way you could be painted as somebody that's actually taking responsibility for your actions. How do we know this? Because he goes and do an interview, right? And as he's doing this interview and they're asking him this question about like his gun, what happened? What was his response?
He never said where he got the gun. So the interview was with Jalen Rose. Thought it was going to be a candid sit down, and the question came up, where did you get this gun? Whose gun is it? And he really, really danced around that question. Avoided it completely.
Completely danced around the question and just said, this is not who I am. So I just felt like, okay, he's just doing everything that they're telling him to do so that way he could get back into everyone's good graces, everybody could stop talking about it, and he could get back on that court and play. I personally don't believe that the league cares about him actually doing better in life,
right?
But they just need him to play.
And isn't it crazy that the amount of games that he's being suspended for is like right around when the playoffs start? Mm-hmm. Isn't it crazy? Who would have thought? So like you said, the NBA doesn't care about the well-being of these players or whether or not they're actually getting the help they need or whether or not their mental capabilities are there or their maturity is there or whatever it is. They care about that buck. They care about their sponsors. They care about making sure that they get the views that they need to justify the sponsors sponsoring the NBA, whatever it is. So at the end of the day, it does not matter what wrong Ja Morant did. He's not even getting a misdemeanor. Man, I wish I could take a gun from state to state and even get not even a misdemeanor. Come on. And at the end of the day, Ja is probably never going to learn anything from this. It's never going to teach him anything. All he's going to know is that, yes, I'm the face of the Memphis Grizzlies, and if I screw up, they're going to bail me out because they need me just as much as I need them. Who is watching Memphis if there's no Ja Morant? Absolutely nobody.
This is interesting. Do you guys feel like it's setting up the precedent, and we see it all the time with the athletes, that you get a little slap on the wrist, a little pat on the hand, and then you go on about your way? Do you really feel like the consequences should have been greater? And then I know you feel like, so it's twofold. I'm going to ask you that. 25 games at least, you said.
I would have said 25
a misdemeanor.
games. I'm not saying that he has to serve jail time or anything like that. But yeah, you need something. You need to learn a lesson, because if I do that, I'm gonna get backlash. I'll probably lose my job. I'll probably have at least not a misdemeanor. I'm getting a felony, because forget me, I don't have $230 million. There's just what it is. So you would think that you have to learn a lesson from these things that you do. I'm not saying that you have to be penalized and absolutely rebuked for every stupid mistake that you make. But this is a series of stupid mistakes that Ja Morant has made that has led up to this really, really big mistake. This is not a little thing. not only are you the face of a franchise, Ja, you are an idol to many little kids. They look up to you. So a lot of people say, you know, I never asked to be anybody's idol. I never asked to be anybody's role model. But that is what you sign up for when you become a celebrity, when you become an athlete. It doesn't matter if you didn't sign up for it. That's what celebrity means. You are somebody's role model. A lot of little kids watch basketball and look to these guys as, I want to be like that guy when I grow up. Everybody, I want to be like Mike. Well, we found out that Mike is actually an asshole in real life, but kids is, I want to be like Mike. Now it's, you know, I want to be like LeBron, and I want to be like Ja, and it's all of these guys. They are the face, they are the role model, so they have to accept the responsibility.
Forget being a role model for the fans, for your own kids. At the end of the day, he has children, right? So if you're in jail, you're no good to them, locked up, right? And this is why he need to go ahead and reevaluate his circle, because that's really the issue. He can't tell the people who gun it is because he don't want to snitch on nobody.
So I understand where you're coming from. I'm going to take it from a different take. Ja Morant is young. He's very young. And I believe that we all make mistakes when we're young. I think that he has a whole lot of growing to do. And I know you guys are like, okay, he's making all this money. He's the face. He needs to be mature enough. However, I do believe that there is a little wiggle room. Allow these guys to grow. They're already growing in the public's eye. He doesn't have to take ownership of his icon role or idol role, but let's give him some grace. Let's give him the chance to learn. And I know you don't think it's really help. I know you think this is just, you know, a good PR move. They have to say this in order to allow him to come back and play. I think that discredits mental health, especially as it relates to black men. He really could be going through something where he needs to get some help. Talk to someone. So I am hopeful that Ja Morant, this is going to be a lesson for him. He will have no pay for the next 8 games. And to your point, it'll be right in time for playoffs. Reevaluate where he is, and then we'll see.
Well, I absolutely do believe that Ja Morant is going through something. I don't think that Ja Morant is just this stupid on purpose. I think that he is going through absolutely something. And, you know, whatever demons that he is facing, I hope, like you do, I hope that he actually addresses this and takes this therapy seriously. But what I'm looking at is that it's an 8-game suspension. How much therapy is he getting in 8 games?
And if I'm going through therapy to get my mind right, I don't care who it is. I'm not trying to go sit on nobody's couch and television and talk about anything. Let me go get the help that I checked myself in for, and let me come back out, right? And then sit and have an interview with you. Like, this is what I'm talking about, because it just looks so staged. It looks so to check off, okay, he did the interview, okay,
Right.
we've seen this too many times. Anytime something happened with these players, the first thing we see in the media is, oh, I know that I need help. I'm gonna go ahead and check myself in and get help, right? Some genuinely know that, but then some are just doing it because they know it's what they have to do. So my whole thing is, yes, Ja may really be going through something, but I don't want it to just be something that is brushed over. No. Really, if you know you're going through, take your therapy seriously. And the organization, the NBA and the Grizzlies, they need to also understand that this person is more than just an athlete. Make sure he get what he needs so he could be a better human, a better person for himself, for his family, and then for your organization.
Right.
That's good stuff. Okay, so talking about getting the help that we need, Tiger Woods is in the news this week. So one that had to be checked in, got some help, right? But now he is dealing with a live-in girlfriend who has sued him. They signed an NDA. They were living together for about 5-6 years now.
5 6 years.
And she's suing him for $30 million because he took her to the airport, had her locked out of their home, and no longer wants to live with her. So, Tiger Woods, thoughts?
Adriana.
I mean, this is not black people issues.
So Tiger came out and said that he is Caucasian, right? This was many years ago, kind of coined that term.
What is that?
Caucasian, Black, Indian, Asian. He's embracing his mother and his father's heritage. So.
Listen, whether or not Tiger wants to deny whatever he is. That's between him and his God. However, at the end of the day, Tiger doesn't want this woman living in her house, and she needs to leave. She just needs to leave. And it looks crazy that she's trying to sue to release her from an NDA that she signed willingly. And then she's saying that they actually had some verbal agreement where he said that she could live in the house for an additional 5 years. Now, let's get one thing straight. If a relationship has deteriorated to the point where somebody literally has to lock you out their house, that's been developing. This isn't something new that happened, like, oh, Tiger Woods woke up one night and decided that he was tired of this girl. He's been tired of her. He was just trying to figure out how to get rid of her. And this was how he came up with his brilliant plan. You know, men come up with brilliant plans. Either way, he got her out the house, he locked her out, she can't come back in, and she looks crazy. And I know she knows that their relationship has been deteriorating for a while. So why are you fighting so hard? I mean,
are you really asking why she's fighting so hard?
No, right.
Oh, okay.
I'm like,
Tiger gonna have to break her off a little $5 million so she could just leave him alone.
but I just feel as though she shouldn't even feel like she's entitled to all of that. Like, you're not even married to him.
Yeah.
You're a girlfriend. And so there was no commitment, really. There's nothing that he has to really say, okay, you can live in my house. Like, no, you don't. That's his house, first of all. And then you want to sue him for what, $32 million because you feel as though, he broke his verbal agreement. Girl.
So, for you athletes that are watching, you got to be careful when you have people living with you, because it almost is as if, you know, they have some type of ownership to your house. She's been living there for years, so this is her residence at this point. So if you kick her out, in Tiger Woods' case, lock the door on her, she still has some stake. So be very clear what the laws are in your state, because you don't want to get caught up and then having someone sue you for millions of dollars.
But that's the crazy thing, because you might have to enlighten me on this. What stake does she have?
Right.
Well, this was her residence. They're living together.
But her
and,
name
you know, it's like common law when you are living with people.
Florida isn't a common law state. They got rid of that.
It depends on where you're living, right? So they're in Florida. She feels like she's entitled to something. Now, will she win? In some cases, we're seeing people just settle to get away from the situation, which doesn't make it right. And to your point, he might just have to give her something, a couple million, to get her out of his hair.
And that's probably what she really wants, though.
Right.
You know, she probably doing all of this extreme stuff, right? No, she knows she's not going to get no $32 million up out of Tiger Woods. Absolutely not, right?
But she wants something.
She wants something. So she's like, okay, I'll settle for a good 5, 2, even 1. It's better than what she came in.
She knows something, which is why she wants that NDA to be eradicated, right?
Well, listen, we already knew from way back when that Tiger had some very deviant behaviors, because, you know, the porn star was saying he was peeing on them. Like, it was some crazy, crazy stuff going on with Tiger. So Tiger, we already know Tiger has, like, very, very special things that he likes to do with women. But this isn't news. Like, even with your girl, Young Miami, when she said that, you know, she enjoys golden showers. This is because, you know, I saw somebody say, tell me you're dating a billionaire without telling me you're dating a billionaire. They do some weird stuff. So she knows. She knows. But you know what? Listen, Tiger's never going to be out of the news. It's like he seeks it out. He's like the moth to the flame.
I don't know. I don't think he seeks it out. It's like it's
Listen,
following him. It's finding him.
It's always there. It's like this little like spirit just following him wherever he goes.
No, it's because he did his first wife wrong. Ever since she left him,
curse on him?
baby, it's been downhill ever since.
Oh, Tiger. Okay, so you brought up Young Miami. And we got to see Lil Uzi Vert, right? So we're sports, but we're entertainment too. That's set. Sports and entertainment. We're going to wind in some entertainment this edition. Lil Uzi Vert, he said that he made a city girl believe in Satan. Thoughts on entertainers? We are getting to see a lot more behavior that is questionable as entertainers are taking the stage, from wearing all red, appearing like what many people believe is demonic. What are y'all thoughts about that?
They are.
I was about to say, it's demonic. It's point blank, period. And it's just crazy how bold they have become now. It's not even like they're trying to hide it anymore. We've seen it with the Grammys with Sam Smith. I mean, we see it with Beyonce and her concert in Dubai. And matter of fact, even her whole Black is King is very much so evident. We're hearing it in the lyrics. We see Lil Uzi Vert. We seen Lil Nas X. It's like all of these celebrities, especially entertainers, are not hiding it at all.
They're embracing it. It's not just that they're not even trying to hide it at all, but they're actually embracing it, and they're putting this message out. Lil Uzi Vert. I'm sorry, I don't particularly listen to Lil Uzi Vert. I don't. But you know who does listen to Lil Uzi Vert? Little middle schoolers and high schoolers, and the younger generation. They love him, and they see him on stage with his little hairstyle with the devil ears. He knows what he's doing. They all know what they're doing. And you mentioned that Summer Walker tried to say, like, her thoughts on it and basically, like, she was denouncing it. But like you said, Summer was praying to an altar, and them little dolls, they look kind of crazy. Like, you're not supposed to pray to idols and false images. And Summer, what are you doing? If you think you believe in God, what are you doing?
It was really the pot calling the kettle black. So it was like, we get the message, right? Because she was just saying, do these artists even know what they're talking about when they're talking about like these demons? And she was like, it's not cute, right? But then it's like, though we get your messaging, you also, posted a story or an Instagram post with you kneeling before an altar that is demonic. So it's like there is no, well, this is good demons. No, demons are demons, period. Okay? The source is the source. So I just think that what we're seeing happening right now is so crazy because children and kids are being influenced by this. And what people don't understand is that we are in a very curious generation, especially with Gen Z. They're going to go research everything. And what people don't understand, when you begin to research those things, you open yourself up to something that you may not be spiritually ready for.
Okay, so we know that we have to keep our armor on, right? Our whole armor at this point. Staying prayerful and really paying attention to the images that we're seeing. And then for those of us that have children, pay more attention to what our children are listening to, because we are seeing an increase in suicide, depression, and a lot of this is being influenced by what our kids are watching and listening to. So we got to be very vigilant of what's going on. So as we're talking about, people's perception, demonic images, we are also this week in sports having a question about Russell Wilson and Ciara. Russell Wilson is a Christian man who comes out. He's always talking about the scriptures. We see on his Twitter account so many passages of the Bible that he posts. And this week, to the Oscars, at the Oscars party, we see Ciara in what looked like a sheer cover-up and just some panties and pasties.
That
What are you guys' thoughts?
That was a thong. That was a legit thong.
Okay, they weren't bloomers.
Nah, they weren't bloomers. I mean, I thought it was inappropriate. I thought it was inappropriate for, not just for her to wear that. And I don't care what the theme of a party is. I don't care if you have the body to do it. It's the message you're trying to give. You can't be part of a prayerful family and a religious, spiritual family, and you can't have respect for your husband if you wear something like that out.
But my issue is not with Ciara as it is with Russell Wilson. Because as you stated, right, on his Twitter account, and he has professed this openly, that he is a Christian, he is a devout man of God, right? That's what he has said. And there's no way as a husband, but also a man of God, that you can be okay with your wife publicly displaying herself like that for the world to see, right? My thing with him is you cannot just be over here posting scripture and you're not living or conducting your life to the scriptures that you're posting. The scripture is the scripture and the word is a standard. And my issue with him is like, yes, you know, this is what she's doing. This is the theme. But when the theme is going against what you believe, you have to really put your foot down and be like, I understand this is the theme, but I can't have you outside like that. I understand this is the theme, but we can't have men all over the world lusting after you, seeing, like they can see exactly what she looks like naked. Like, so what kind of message are we sending? You in the prisons, and you know, it's no shade to them, but you're in the prisons and y'all worshiping and y'all lifting Jesus, but there is a standard, and that's the problem. And so a lot of people are not understanding that the controversy is not the fact of what she's wearing, because they're comparing her to other women who came out like Rihanna, who didn't have anything on. It's not the fact that she wore it, but it's the fact that none of them claim to be Christian women or married to a Christian man. None of them claim to do that. But when you are saying that I serve Jesus, as for me and my house, we live for the Lord, then your behavior needs to also follow that in every aspect.
You're absolutely right.
All right, so we're judging the tree by the fruit that it's bearing, right? So no judgment, we just watching. We want to know what you guys think. Sound off, share your thoughts. We're in a day and age where the lines have been blurred, right? A lot of people that are professing to love the Lord and be Christians are feeling as though there was nothing wrong with what Sierra had on as a wife, as a mom, as a woman of God. Sound off. What are your thoughts? We're seeing Ja Morant. Let us know what you think about his 8-game suspension. And then Tiger Woods. Should he have to pay this woman $30+ million just to get her out of his house and get out of this contract? That's This Week in Sports. I'm Danisha Roll.
I'm Adriana Smith.
And I'm Sports Talk Tasha. Join us next week.